Guys, today we're going to be talking about some cool articles that came on LinkedIn regarding progressing your career, programming, and really what software engineers are looking for in a job. I really liked them. Sometimes LinkedIn has some really good articles on the side there that sort of catch my eye, and I think it's worth talking about. I want to say thanks to our long-term sponsor, Dev Mountain Coding Bootcamp. If you're interested in learning iOS development, UI UX, full-stack JavaScript, or quality assurance, check out devmountain.com. Not only do they have awesome programs that'll get you up and going, but they also include housing in their tuition so you can get up and go. If you want to find out more about what they got to offer and their locations, which they are in Phoenix, Dallas, and Lehigh, you can at devmountain.com. So being an engineer, pretty much for in software or data science or anything like that, keeps on going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And so you're going to start seeing more of these, what programmers want most in jobs and all these things related to developers, because computer science is the one field that just keeps on growing and growing and growing. And TripleByte did a article here about what we want the most. And which you're not familiar with TripleByte, they essentially are like a coding platform, and they did a coding platform where they give you skill assessments, try to get you jobs basically. And what their studies found here was that on average, what motivated a developer was personal growth. And I say this time and time again because people, I've talked and harped about this, is that for the most part, what people are looking for are ways to progress their career and ways to continue to learn and stay fun and active, right? So typically I say I move on from a role when, one, either there's more money, or two, I've learned everything that I have to learn at that role, and it's time to go take on some new challenges, because the worst thing for a developer is doing the same thing every day. Nothing's different. And that's part of the reasons people try to get out of that sort of aspect. And then, of course, the very next one is salary, right? Who doesn't like getting cut fat checks? Not because you just want to, I mean, some of you do, but not just because you want to just buy nice things and have a nice car, but, by me having a salary, I'm able to, lend family members money when they need it to help them out of their financial straits. I can take care of my parents as they grow older. I can, get ready to have kids. I can, pay for April's bills while she goes back to school, whatever the case may be. Your salary allows you to do that, build that financial independence. And the work-life balance. This is a mindset thing for me. Most places aren't. No matter what place you work at, it's up to you to have a good work-life balance. And then impressive team members, right? It goes back to that learning and growing. You want to work with qualified candidates and people, or qualified individuals and people who are going to make you better and not worse. So all of these things I could definitely see. And then at the very bottom of a flat organization, I guess you don't want to work at a place that has no room for growth. Or 2% of people want to have that. Good luck with that. So this was another article I found a little bit interesting, which was, should engineers have fun at work? It was the senior director of engineering, Julia Grace at Slack, said to keep the team focused but the mood light. One of the things that I sort of found funny about this is I've worked at a few companies now at this point in my career, and the ones who always say something before you get there, like, we're very focused on our culture, we want to make sure we have a great culture. To me, they're trying to cover something up. And so when I see statements like this, do you want to keep the team focused but the mood light? How do you do that? How do you do that effectively without stressing your developers out? And because it has to be an organizational thing. Like, it's not just one person. Granted, the people around you, your boss, your boss's boss, the people who are closest to you are going to be the ones who are going to have the most impact. But unless an organization takes this stance of how we're going to set the tone for deadlines, how we're even going to have deadlines. Are we going to have deadlines? How we're going to make sure our people don't quit and move on to other things. So environment is a very big thing. And remember that work-life balance. This sort of goes to that. And unfortunately, a lot of there's a couple different type of software companies, I should say companies that you'll work with as developers. So there are the very professional ones where you're going to be writing quality code. It's going to be tested. It's going to be thought out ahead of time. It's going to be planned, and things are going to fall into place. There's going to be hiccups like in any plan, but there's generally going to be process. That's about 1 in 20 places you're going to work at, maybe 1 in 10. The other 95% just slowly decrease into absolute chaos, where on the other end of the spectrum, you are the IT department. You might be the one of few who have any idea how a computer even works. And because of that, no one has any understanding of what takes time and what is reasonable. And they'll be willing to say, oh, it should be easy without having any idea how it should do. And essentially, you'll be treated as in-house contractors. And then you have the other sort of middle ground where you have people who are somewhat upset that they have to pay engineers so much, but they need an engineering team and they pay that. And then you have a little bit less so where they have an engineering team, but then you have the business people around you who are like the business analysts, the project managers, the scrum master, who are very worried about keeping their job and making sure that they get paid. And so they're constantly stressing stressing the developers out, screaming and yelling, the house is on fire, the roof is on fire. So this is an interesting thing to be in, and I think, do you need to keep the mood light? Yeah, because most people don't want to deal with it. At least I know I don't. I've done a bunch of mentoring with developers. I've probably mentored over 100 developers at this point in my life, sort of one-on-ones, and what I can tell you is a lot of them are very stressed, because a lot of them don't know how to handle that situation. So if you're feeling like you're not being able to handle the business people at your work, because that's what this sort of relates to me anyhow, I highly recommend that you read what is it called? The Clean Coder, which there's a link in the description below. You can get that, which will teach you how to interact with the business, as well as how to be a professional software developer from a sort of professionalism standpoint. And last but not least, the old switcheroo. I love that they put the switcheroo. I wonder if that's just a slang term or a real term. But in the latest signs of a job market in America, the people who are switching jobs are getting bigger raises than people who are not. Imagine that. So the loyalty and staying with a company is not being rewarded. However, when you leave, you get bigger rewards. Something I've been harping on for quite a long time. So on average, we saw 5.3 and all this sort of stuff. But you can see here they have some data: small firms, smaller raises. Basically saying at the smaller of a company you're at, the smaller the raise. So there's some truth to, not everyone wants to work at a giant company. I do. I've worked at small companies, I've worked at mid-sized companies, and I've worked at giant companies. And I can tell you that I much prefer to work at a mid-size plus to giant. I'll never work at a small company again. But part of it is they have the money to keep you. They have the money to give you raises, but you are more than likely going to get paid better if you go and jump jobs. And you'll see all these business people telling you like, well, it's not all about, look, I don't know why y'all work jobs, but I work jobs to get paid. In terms of finding passion, in terms of finding fulfillment, that's what I do outside of work. Because I'm working on I have always found it hard to believe people say they find their job, they're very passionate about their job in software development, because unless it's your baby, or you're getting equity and so it kind of is your baby, it's hard for me to say, oh, I'm super passionate. Like, I'll do a good job, I'll deliver a quality product, I'll work hard, But in terms of passion, I get passion from working on something that's going to benefit me continually. So rather than a single time, right? So it's about not trading that time for money. So, but yeah, so ignore all that. But yeah, just a couple cool articles I thought that I wanted to mention. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. And if you like these types of videos, these sort of news videos, let me know, and I'll do some more of them next time something comes up. As always, check out my courses in the description below, which you can get for $9.99. And don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share. See you next time. Bye. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that notification bell or smash that like button while you're at it. And if you're interested, I just released my latest course, the 100 Front-End Technical Question Challenge, which is there to help you pass those front-end technical interviews. There's over 100 questions. You can get it for just $9.99. The link is in the description below, or use coupon code CodingGod.